Well, hello everyone. Glad you all can join me on a fantastical Friday morning right after the conclusion. Alright, before the game begins, big college football playoff games, and after a couple months of departure, I have returned. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome to a new edition of the J My Talks podcast. This time we are live on YouTube. This time around, instead of instead of us usually going in with nothing, we're usually going in with recording. Reason why I decided to do a live version of podcast is a more easier way of discussing things and actually getting into more popular things. Let me turn down my audio here. I just noticed the audio is a little higher, so my apologies. So trying to adjust things. So how are we all doing this evening? I hope you're all doing good on this New Year's Day. If you are on this New Year's Eve, so let's get started. I will say this year has gone by super quickly. I will say this. Um, yes, I am a couple minutes late on giving you all an update, and I apologize. So yes, one of the things we're gonna talk about is, of course, first thing is of course this year, in terms of how getting podcasts and stuff upload schedule. I will say this: my apologies to everyone. I have kind of dropped the ball on that one. Like, to be honest, I didn't expect myself to be very inconsistent. Was I was busy with a lot of things with this, especially with the apartment, with this apartment here. So, but yes, last time. Now this is the first live episode of Jeremiah Talks podcast. Last time we did a live stream on the Jeremiah Talks podcast, it was back in 2000. It was actually last year where we were doing our predictions episode of the 2020 NFL season, and that one was kind of hit or miss. Hopefully, this one's a little bit better. So far, looking like it is, but let's just hope things are good. Anyways, we're gonna get started with a couple things. So I want to at least get into a couple topics. I say the big one is pretty much involving ESPN. It's kind of, to me, it's so far this Ravens football season, I'm pretty much ready for the season to end. Personally, for me, I'm ready for this to end. This end of this season because, Ravens somehow, the amount of injuries and amount of stuff that's going on, part of me just wants it just to end, and it just wants the season ended. I will say that now, what are my thoughts on the Ravens Vikings game? That was a pretty good game. I won't lie. That one, it was actually a fun event. So but one thing I will say is for certain is I say involving only thing I kind of will say as a fan is one thing is let me see if I can find this, because I'm gonna at least break down at least this one video. I kind of mentioned it on Twitter last night on Twitter, and this was to me, I look into this thing and it's kind of this. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, with involving my thoughts on yeah, this is so basically like one of my thoughts on like pretty much the 10 about Joe Burrow dropping over 500 on us. It hurt. I said it wasn't. It was a thorough ass whooping. I'll say that much. But was ass whooping me? Did I get? Did I have like any like show like any emotion? Was I upset? I mean, I was upset. I was upset. Honestly, I pretty much just like. I pretty much was upset. I can let me see if I can find this. Because I don't think they took it down right. There's no way they took it down or anything. Did I? Because this is like a couple days old. I think this is a couple days old. This is like after. I don't know if it's here or not. Because what I'm looking for is the reaction of. Because in that one is Bart Scott actually said made some comments. And if those of you who don't know much about who Bart Scott is, he is like a former. He did. He was a former Baltimore Ravens player, and I say he said some things that are like. I find even as a fan or anything, I think he said it was out of pocket. Somehow it's not happening. I don't see it in here. Oh, now I see it. Jeez. So I'm gonna at least put this up. Let me see where I can. Cause actually, I'm gonna see if we can do something where I can put this up. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna, cause I want to at least. Uh, yeah. So give me a second. We're kind of doing some of this is on the fly here, so bear with me. Kind of doing something completely on the fly here, basically. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, so bear with me. Uh, yeah, that's it right there. I don't know much. And we're going to need a webcam. That. Yes. There we go. So we're doing this. This one's completely on the fly. Yes. My apologies, everyone. This one's kind of on the fly. So yeah, this is pretty much Bart Scott, pretty much covering pretty much making a reaction about Joe Burrow dropping 525 yards on us in Cincy. And yeah, he said some things that are I'm like to me I question it. I will post it on because actually this is also going to be recorded and will be on Spotify and YouTube. I won't play the full. I might play the full audio. But I'm at least gonna play like the big clips here because it's just to me. It's like I can agree with Bengals fans and say like what he said is kind of out of pocket. So here we go. Let me see if it's nope, nope, no. Actually, this is an unskippable ad. Okay, so give me a second. We're gonna mute. Okay, audio's muted actually. So the audio is muted, but I'm not gonna show y'all. Give y'all the. Y'all are not gonna see that. Anytime. And this is unskippable, so I gotta watch through this ad. go. We'll go from there. Okay, fix that. Let me turn on the audio. Alright. So Bar Scott right here. He is a former Ravens player. I'm at least go if I can remember correctly. He is a former Ravens player. I think he was an undrafted. I think he was ever undrafted or I think he was an undrafted free agent, I believe. Or he was a late round pick. I can't entirely put my hand on it. I'm at least going in here. So, let's see. Yeah, I actually searched him earlier. So, they actually just put this. Damn, this is actually okay. Jeez, they actually just someone really like put this out on Wikipedia pretty much. It says here out. Jeez, they actually just put something out on Wikipedia like about that. Which is like, but yeah, okay, yeah, he was an undrafted free agent in 2002. He was signed by the Ravens as an undrafted free agent in 2002, and he ended up getting selected in the Pro Bowl in 2006. Selected the Pro Bowl in 2006, and after his first 7 years with the Ravens, he played with the New York Jets from 2009 to 2012. 2012. So he is a second team All Pro. All Pro. Well, he is an analyst on ESPN, and he is a regular guest on the he is a part of special teams coach. So let's see here. All right, so I'm going to. Let me see. Okay, so I'm just going through some of the last few things. Yeah, I'm looking into his career stats. Like cause he did play a ton of games, a good amount of games. He was a consistent player. Actually, a pretty consistent player. Actually, like in terms of, I say the first few seasons he played mainly on special teams for the first couple of years. The big thing was his career kind of. The big thing was he was known in 2005, 2006 as a defensive standout for him. So he's been with the Ravens for like 7 years. So he played for. He's been on that field for 2002 to 2008. one of the things I am going to say is like one of the things about Bar Scott is to me, he pretty much just I my this is pretty much to me in this one case in this case is going to be what he said is one of the things that he said is like is pretty much he pretty much reacted to the this is like this is actually yesterday. This is yesterday, so this is like first this is Thursday and this game happened on Sunday, so basically this still like the 525-yard game is still fresh in like a lot of players, a lot of analysts and stuff. So people are wondering like, is this should we count this as legit? Because this is like the fourth most passing yards in the game. It's pretty much a new Bengals franchise record. Franchise record. My watch is like with a lot of it is like we got Ravens pretty much got their asses whipped. Some now my opinion on that performance, like I say this, it happened. To me, it happened. We pretty much can't say much about that. We can't really say much. It happened. It lost. At this point, we just gotta do is like, I just, I'm pretty much done with the season. And I'm pretty much just ready to just move on. So this is pretty much his like main clip. So that is my 1 second. That is my cell phone alarm. I'm gonna turn off just to make sure. I'm gonna put my phone on vibrate. And I'm gonna just put my phone on vibrate real quick. So no more distractions. So it is a actual former Ravens player. He's been in the league. He's been with the team for 7 years. For 7 years, he is pretty much a linebacker. A linebacker. He is a second team All Pro in the 2005-2006 NFL season, and that was a big year because he pretty much it was that was the season that Ray Lewis injured his hamstring, and this was at the time, and this was you can kind of say this like that Madden like curse thing because that year Ray Lewis was on the Madden 2005 cover, so on Madden 2005 cover that year. So he ends up starting 10 games. He actually played a big role in that one. I think a career high was like 135 tackles and like I think 9.5 sacks and like a pick. If I remember correctly. If I actually remember correctly. 119 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and 4 passes defended. He ended up getting a 3-year extension afterwards. It was also 2006 that also actually it was 2006 where he stepped up where he ended up getting 135 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 9 passes being defended. So it is like so he's it was like I say his first few seasons, it was like he was mostly used for like special teams, little bit of a rotation because at that time that was like Ray Lewis was still like the main linebacker at that point in time, so you weren't gonna get like much playing time there while Ray Lewis was around, but he did step up in a big way when Ray Lewis was injured uh, that year. So, stepped in a big way and proved himself for those first the next 4 years of his tenure with Ravens. So, he is I don't know where he ranks as like a Ravens player, but for someone who's been around with Ravens, I can kind of understand him being upset that pretty much a division rival did that to us. A quarterback that's on a division rival doing that to us badly. But what he says in this, I'm just like, bruh, like you kind of, that to me is excessive. So I'm just going to go ahead and play it. Let's just go ahead and
This dude beat Shane Falco and the replacement players, first of all. This dude wasn't playing against the Baltimore Ravens. And listen, I've seen this movie before, right? I've seen Carson Palmer come in, and they had a couple of things success. But listen, it's a culture in Baltimore. And listen, the last thing you ever want to do is poke the bear. Okay, and you were the team that, nobody had expectations for. You won a game, and you beat them twice. Congratulations. You know what you've won for your wins? You won a lifetime career ass kicking from the Baltimore Ravens going forward. Because guess what? Listen, our rival is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen, it's a way we go about it.
Okay, so what he says is like that you earn like a lifetime career ass kicking from the Ravens. I say it is like next year we would take the Bengals a bit more seriously because now at this point, because according to rumors, Ben is saying he's retiring after this season, at the end of the season. I mean, they said pretty much the Monday night's game against the Steelers game against the Browns Monday night, that's going to be Ben's last game as a Steeler, last home game. So so in this case, I feel like Baltimore and Cincy are pretty much going to be the two teams that are going to be contending for the division for probably the next, I say, 5 to 10 years. It's going to be between those two teams for a while. I'd say if Cleveland can compete, I think they can kind of be like the dark horse looking inward, but it's pretty much going to be Ravens. It's pretty much the two teams in that division is Ravens Bengals. So this part he says next is kind of like it's a little too much.
Zach Taylor, you're involved in this too, right? You want to sit up here and you want to run the score up. You won't get the benefit of the doubt. And listen, I guarantee you, it's called red dot. And every Raven and former Raven understand what the red dot means. You can be
I'm now. So what red dot? What he means is like basically intentionally like it's pretty much kind of like headhunting, like pretty much and anytime we get like we're doing a blitz, basically just hit him after every throw, but do hit him in an action where it's pretty much gonna harm him. This is where it's like back in 2000, like in the mid 2000s, stuff like that. It was Ravens defense legendary for being a hard-hitting team. That back then is pretty much kind of looked at like is kind of dirty, but at the time of this game, it was legal to kind of take some liberties. Taking liberties on like a defensive player, taking liberties like the quarterback. But thing is bound to get exposed some things. But when the advent of Bountygate, the modern research involving concussions and CTE, that is a little extreme. That is where things language, that is now like kind of illegal. Do I think like the Ravens are going to play like more aggressive next year? Play more aggressive? Will they actually try to get to Joe Burrow a whole lot more? Possibly. Try at least get sacks on him. Try to sack him. Try at least pressure him more. Try to pressure him more. But in terms of like actually harming a man, pretty much injuring him, that's where I'm kind of like, that's where it's kind of excessive. That's where I find it excessive there. And my down everything is where he said like they ran the score on us. I mean, granted, we kind of did do that last year. We did do that last year. So to me, we did do that last year. The one thing about when we did against the Ravens, Bengals, and Cincy, like we pretty much sat like Lamar in the fourth quarter in week 17. And granted, yes, Bengals at that point had pretty much our backups and practice up players. But thing is, we didn't like throw the football like more. We pretty much more or less ran the football. And a lot of y'all went like all out blitz and pretty much just, it was just, that's pretty much to me, I'm like, I kind of don't see that much of a difference. What Joe Burrow played through the entirety of the game, like, there could have been a point, like, they could have, if he just decided to just, now, I don't know if Burrow wanted to stay in the full rest of the game. I don't know, like, before the fourth quarter ended, like, before the start of the fourth quarter, Zach Taylor was like, hey, after this series, you want me to pull you out, or you want to stay in some more? And Joe Burrow was like, probably, Zach Taylor may have given him an option of like, hey, you want to stay in or not? Like, one thing about, like, say, like, Ravens coaches, there was, like, some animosity between, like, Zach Taylor and, like, John Harbaugh. Harbaugh says they had no problem. Zach Taylor said there was no problem. Like, to me, it's like, okay, it's bad that you beat us, but it's like, but I think everyone knows, like, at that point in time, like, the Bengals have had teams blow them out multiple times. So, basically, to them, they kind of was like, at this point, hey, this year was like, hey, this time, you aren't going to be doing this stuff. You aren't blowing us out. You aren't coming into our house and blow us out. This time, we're beating y'all. This time, we're the ones blowing you all out. So, to me, it's like one of those things. It's like, okay, you guys did what you guys had to do. I mean, Ravens had injuries. I could go about like, okay, Ravens had injuries. Like, these main players were injured. Like, Sean Elliott is out. Marlon Humphrey's out. Marcus Peters is out. I can go through a whole list. There's a whole list. Players out couldn't play. I'm not trying to make excuses. But to me, it is like a point where I'm like, but like the thing about Red Eye gets weird, and it does go farther into it. So we're just going to continue. And here on the left, like, Louis Riddick, if you just look at his face, he's probably just like, I think he's probably like kind of out of pocket here. And I think everyone else kind of can say like, he's going a little too far here.
Swagged out. You ain't no tough guys, but you will not get the benefit of the doubt. I guarantee you, he will not last long in this division. They gonna make sure they become headhunters. Whenever they go against him, he gonna get the rib shot, he gonna get the neck shot, he gonna get the tackle with his arms, make his head bounce off the ground shot. He getting all that.
That is where, okay, so saying like, okay, that's where I'm like, okay, there are certain like, I feel like at that point, like, okay, yes, are the Ravens gonna be hitting hard, hitting aggressively, but doing something like that, I'm like, okay, that's a little intentional. Like, you want to hit the man in his neck, like, basically you saying you want the Ravens to try to paralyze him, pretty much end his career. Like, that's like a little where I'm like, okay, dude, like, that's to me is like off the top there. This is where I'm like, in the mid 2000s, like, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, was I upset about Joe Burrow doing what he did? I watched for the whole game. I have to say, for the first 24 hours, I kind of was at a point, I was upset. Like, I pretty much did not want any of my family to try to talk me out of, like, I do get upset at games, but it's like, I don't get to that point of like, I want to see another player get intentionally injured. That's where I'm like, that's where it's like, to me, the extreme is there.
That because you want to add a little smoke on your face. Whatever Macaulay Culkin.
Lewis.
But you're not playing anymore.
It don't
But
matter.
you're not
Them good.
playing anymore,
It's a culture.
It ain't your team no more.
It's a culture. They still got killers. In
culture,
Cincinnati,
Mike.
they got
You ain't
nice. They
playing
got
no
nice
more, Bart.
athletes. They
Wait,
ain't
let
got
loose
no
get it.
killers.
Bart,
They ain't got no killers over
you
there.
ain't play- Bart, you guys were good. Hey, you guys were good back in the day. There's no question about that. But you ain't playing.
Listen, the
You
order's
aren't
been
playing
sent.
anymore.
The
and right now,
order's been
Joe
sent.
Burrow is running through them Ravens.
The order has been sent.
What order?
Listen, the order.
No order. You got nobody to carry him out.
What is he? I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
Red dot in Baltimore, and it's on
Like,
him.
he's saying, like, order. Like, what order? I'm like, look, I don't know much about what mean by like, order. I'm like, bruh, I don't know how would anyone would react to that. And my question is, like, does any player that you know really, I say this, do I think, like, there are current Ravens that are upset over what happened, that are probably pissed off that they got embarrassed like that? Probably yes. 100% yes. But do I think somehow in their mind, like, next year, they're going to try to harm Joe Burrow? They're going to, like, do stuff like that? My question is, do any Raven, current and former, would agree to what pretty much he said there? Like, would John Harbaugh be agreeing on this? Because here's the thing about, if you don't realize, like, about this, he's wanting to do something that's sort of around the lines of Bounty Gate stuff, which cheap hits, and it's like, if there is a thing, if somehow they are setting up, decide to do stuff, something like that, like, with like something like the next game is like, oh, we're gonna make an incentive, like, okay, we'll give you like any player $50,000 for any, like, you know, an impactful hit where it's like it takes Burrow out of the game or something like that, like a rib shot, or like what he just, in this case, like a rib shot or like a neck shot, head shot, whatever. We're gonna make an incentive, like, whatever. Do I think, like, he is should be legal, whatever? I don't think so. To me, it's a little insane that he's saying something that is, I still think is kind of out of pocket here. So, I'm like, and the thing is, if that is the case, do you think the Ravens want to be a part of, like, another, like, Bounty Gate scandal like the Saints? Because if you don't know what happened, like, some key players got suspended. Like, team got fined. Some of them, I don't know much about Bounty Gate, entirety. I think the coach got suspended. Like, Sean Payton got suspended for a whole year. Like, I think draft picks were lost. Like, bruh, like, I don't think the Ravens want to do any of that anytime, any way, shape, or form. I mean, I think next year is they're going to bring a ton of more pressure on him and be on and make sure he doesn't do any of this stuff, but still, like, Doug, you're kind of just saying, to me, it's like you're saying a ton of dumb stuff.
It's going to be on him for the rest of his career. He's going to regret he ever did that. Hey. Zach Taylor, you're going to be involved with it too. Because we're going to get his ass fired in 4 years.
Whatever.
Hey, Lou.
All right,
hey, Lou.
We know what it's about.
Go ahead, David. This is why they call him the Mad Bagger. That's why they call him the Mad
Bagger. Can we cue Bruce Springsteen Glory Days?
No, it ain't no Glory Days. The Ravens always win.
Anyone have that on
when is the Ravens not good? They always good.
Okay. Let me take Bart's side.
You talked first. Wink was the one who said what he said, and Joe made him pay for it.
You know we
made him pay.
Okay, you know we did a
You
replacement.
need to take your varsity jacket off, Bart.
Lou, you know we do
jacket off, Bart.
Lou, you know we do the quarterbacks like that? We tackle their arms. We tackle their arms. Because if I tackle both of your arms, you can't stop your head from bouncing off the ground when I take you to the ground. He gonna be getting arm tackled. He gonna get his arms tackled.
Bart, I love
he gonna
you,
be like, man, why they doing that to me?
I love you, Bart.
Just sign him.
I love you,
I'll
Bart.
tell you, he's still ready to play, everybody. Don't worry. Sign him up right now. He's available for the playoffs.
Red.
I love you, Bart.
I thought I lived in my glory days.
Damian Woody, though, let me turn to
God.
you. Damian Woody, let me bring you in on this, though. I think I appreciate the fact that Joe Burrow has a little bit of cockiness in him right now.
Okay.
He's playing great. He looks great. Where are you seeing him amongst the quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
I think right now, the way Joe Burrow's playing, he's probably a top 5 quarterback right now. Lewis touched upon it, I believe, in the last hour. It's the energy, it's the swag, what he has infused into that team has raised the confidence of this whole team, man. Listen, we all knew he had, all the arm and all the physical attributes. The intangibles is what's raising the level of and the profile of the Cincinnati Bengals right now. And, you combine that with the offensive talent that they have in their arsenal, man. Listen, this Bengals team, man, this is not the same old Bengals team, man. And I know
Then they lose to the Jets.
Then
they lose to the Jets.
Being the mad back and all that, but listen, Joe Burrow's the real deal.
They lost
Get
to the
used
Jets.
to hearing Joe Burrow in the top 5 because it's not crazy.
He lost to the Jets.
Look,
he's not better than. Come on, man.
Joe,
Listen.
is
he better than Joe? Is he better than Herbert?
Hang on.
Go ahead.
I think the thing you have to play into this too, he's also coming off injury, right? And Damian's touching on the leadership stuff. And I know to you that's just, it may not be the most important thing, but I remember during camp, players saying Joe's different this year. And my thought was, how much different can he be? He's already has all the tools. He has all that leadership. We saw it at LSU. Everyone talked about that. He's taking a step forward. And Bart, he's just got to get better.
Guess what?
That part I can agree on because I will say this is the difference between like the Bengals this year compared to like past years because the past couple of years with Dalton, like, there was nothing much going on there. Like, those last, like, because after the Bengals lost in the playoffs to the Steelers, in the way that game ended, because Vontaze Burfict being the fucking dumbass he is, being the hard-nosed, hard-hitting dumbass he is, like, back then, like, the confidence of, like, probably a good chunk of Bengals fans was pretty much shot way worse, because that was probably the closest they ever came to a playoff win in, like, 30 seasons. Like, the moment Joe Burrow, like, got drafted, it was the hype, because of what he did at LSU was pretty much remarkable. So at that time frame, he came in, that was, like, the year the ball kind of, like, got the ball rolling from there. Kind of got the ball like rolling. So got the confidence of like Bengals fans when Joe Burrow came in was kind of big. Was because he was kind of picked to be the savior. One of the things is about now, I say he was trying to start building a culture, a winning culture there. Kind of like what Zach Taylor was doing. At this point, but at this time last year, Bengals were pretty much just. The Bengals pretty much did not have like the same offensive line they had. They did not have like the same defense. There are some players that kind of did make a big impact. Like I think Von Bell and like Jesse Bates kind of pretty much made a big deal. Made a big thing. The only thing I will say was like offensive line was the question one. I was gonna say like there are certain few that were I don't know much about Bengals offensive line much, but I will say is like Bengals kind of did have like sort of had offensive tools. Only thing they just had to do was like build an offensive line around Burrow. The first year they pretty much just threw him in with his offensive line and it messed up. So one of the things I will say is like they luckily enough got through because this time last year he was just started walking without any form of assistance like crutches or anything. So from him going from a torn ACL to pretty much what he's doing like a year later is pretty much remarkable. And I think that is kind of one of the things I looked at. I'm like, and that's one of the things I'm like, looked at. I'm like, to me, my first time, I'm like, okay, this Bengals team is built to fight now. It's better equipped to like compete because my thing was like week 4 when they played the Jaguars, like they were down like I think 13-0, and they still like battle back to win it. So, and that was the thing that kind of got me like saying, this Bengals team can take a bit of a beating and come back. So it's like and come back to win. So I say so far this season, everything looks good right now. So I'm gonna look into like if we're going into like from the 7 seasons like that we're gonna go into the 7 seasons like the Ravens actually played like 7 seasons like that that Bar Scott was in with the Ravens, and this was pretty much like the results of each game. So 2002, Ravens won both games that season, 38-27 and 27-23. 2003, Ravens win the game in Baltimore, 31-13. Bengals won their game in Cincinnati, won the next game in Cincinnati, 34-26. So 3-1 first 2 years. Next year, Bengals beat the Ravens in Baltimore, 27-26. Ravens go to Cincy and beat them 23-9. 23-9. Okay. So that is 4-2. Next year, Bengals sweep them. The Bengals sweep the Ravens 21-9 in Baltimore, 42-29. So basically, the series now even at 4-4. 4-4 now. 2006, the Ravens win their game in Baltimore, 26-20. Bengals win the next one, 13-7 in Cincy. 2007, Bengals sweep for Ravens, 21-7, 27-20. So that is right now for counting 2, 2-0, 3-1, 4-2, 4-4, 5-5, 7-5, and then in 2008, the Ravens sweep the Bengals 17-10, then 34-3. And that season was pretty much, that's when John Harbaugh was the head coach, and that was when Flacco came in. So at that point in time, that means in pretty much Bart Scott's career, 7-7. He was 7-7. He was 7-7. As a Ravens player, he was 7-7 overall. Now I think I saw in those 10 games, Carson Palmer was a quarterback. And I think that record was 4-6. Was 4-6. It was like 4-6. I believe so, because Marvin Lewis was the head coach, and I also believe became the head coach, and I think this is also the same year Carson Palmer was drafted. I may have to look into. Carson Palmer was drafted. Actually, let me go into, because did Cincinnati get drafted? Yes, this was Carson Palmer. Yes, this would be Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer's first year. So 2003. So in that case, so in 2003, 2008, so you were 1-1. Started off 1-1 against Carson Palmer. 2-2 from 2004. Then 2005, 2007, you lose 5 out of 6. 5 out of 6. And basically and then ended with 7. Ended up winning 2 more against Carson Palmer, who I think left in 2009, 2010. No, he was there till... Okay, no, it was 2011 when Andy Dalton was drafted. So, 2011 season. So, but in those 6 years, you were 4-6 against a Carson Palmer-led team. So, I'm saying this as a Rams fan. You pretty much... And that is pretty much the... So, I'm not saying much about, like, Joe Burrow is in that... Is Joe Burrow that guy or not? I'm not saying much about it. All I know is, like, that we are looking at a player that is pretty much... All I know is this. He beat our ass that game. I just think, like... Bro, you are saying something that's kind of wild. Well, my question is, like... You pretty much was... Because I think you were in the same... Because the players that were there, like, I think... So, I mean... Look... I mean... there was a game in 2005 where the Bengals actually dropped 42 points. Literally dropped 42 points on you guys. Which, actually, I want to see, like... Which I kind of do want to look into... Actually, let me look into... Actually, we're going to look into the... Yeah, because this is actually the same season the Bengals actually made it to the postseason first playoff berth and division title since 1990 that year. So that was an amazing year. This year we had amazing year there. Amazing year. Fair. We're going to do a look into that. I want to look into that game. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So we'll go here. Oh, this link. Let's go into this. No. I just want to look into I just want to see the stats of that game. Let me see. Line. I'm trying to find a stat line. Sorry. Only ones I have is like week 1 and like week 8. So I guess I'll just use the actual recap then of this recap thing. Let me see what pops up. I'm actually gonna pull up stats and see like what happened at that game. Is like see, yeah, because I remember this is like because at this time Caldwell was quarterback, so we were not doing much. Yeah, here's Barska here. So yeah, like 5. Yeah, in this one he had like 5 tackles. 5 tackles, pretty much at that time frame. Yeah, like 5 tackles in that game. In that entire game, and like. Yeah, like Carson Palmer went 22 out of 30 for 302 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. And sacks. Because there was no. Okay, neither team had a sack in that game, so it was nothing too crazy. Where's like a team? Yeah, like this was in this game. Like pretty much you had no. You guys didn't even allow it. Didn't get any sacks at all that game. Like in that game exactly, you did not give. You did not get any sacks. Like you pretty much get any sacks. Only got 1 pick and like 2 fumbles. So, but that was at a time. But at that time, you guys were 3-8, so I'm not gonna say much about that. I'm just gonna be looking at. That was like. My question is like, where are at a time frame where you pretty much were during that time frame like, bro, like that was like Chad Johnson was a multi-time Pro Bowler, Like a lot of people were clowning on you. Bengals fans kind of was calling you out on that, and like Chad Johnson pretty much called you out. Pretty much probably was calling you out and was pretty much laughing at you because I'm like, bruh. Because at that point, I'm probably sure, I don't know what Chad Johnson did, but like, I think one of the best touchdown celebrations was pretty much donning a gold jacket and it's like Pro Football Hall of Famer. One of the celebrations. I'm not saying much about the fact that he is. I'm not going to say like, is he saying anything right or wrong? I'm going to say it's like, there's a difference between you playing the game fair and competitive, playing aggressive and keeping it competitive out of respect. to a huge difference between like you want to see like the Ravens defense try to take his life. And my question is like, it's not just current players. Do they agree with what you said? Do you think like former players, like some of your teammates, agree with what you just said? I say you have that conversation with like Ray Lewis. Have that conversation with Ed Reed, because I don't think any of them would want to do. I think some of them would be mad, but I don't think it would do something like crazy like that. And I mean, some of them probably are. I know, like Louis Riddick and like Damien Wade right now, probably like kind of laughing at it, or kind of like smirking right now. But some of them in the back of their minds, somewhat saying like, "Dog, you not know what you just said is wild."
He's still
So is
young.
Lamar. He's older than Lamar.
Dude,
How did Lamar come into this?
Because in that division, we gonna
Okay.
red dot his ass.
I'll give you the final word. Okay, I get that you don't think he's
Shereen,
top
do we have
5.
to?
And we don't have unlimited time, by the way. Top 10?
No, top 10. Here you go. I'm gonna give you this. Congratulations, you won the battle, but we will win the war. I promise you. Carson Palmer knows what it's all about.
What's the war, Bart?
The war
What
is
war
the
is
battle.
that?
The war
What
is
war?
losing his division and never winning the Super Bowl because the Ravens gonna keep him from there. That's what it is. Steve, put the code
Never
in.
winning the
Steve
Super
Bisciotti.
Bowl.
Put the code in.
Guys, we have to wrap this up. Guys, Bart has to catch his train to Baltimore in a minute, so we'll be right back.
My code still.
I mean, I think that there's a possibility. Okay, I feel like right now it is going to be like these two teams will be seeing each other a ton. Like, I mean, for now, I'm like, dude, right now in this case, Joe Burrow is technically 2-1. He is 2-1 against us. Is 2-1 against us now. Because usually in the first year, like when you're a rookie, Ravens pretty much treat rookies, pretty much make sure rookies have the worst game of their life, some of the worst game of their life, and then the next couple of years, some of them are going to bounce back and have some good games against us. So, I mean, this point now, so right now, there's only 3 games. Right now, it is what it is. And that is true, like, Joe Burrow is actually older than Lamar, slightly. Like, slightly older, which is... But it is a thing, like, I'm like, right now, do I think, like, that whole thing, like, you still going with the red dot thing is still crazy. I'm not gonna knock the man, like, hey, I get it, you're a homer for this team. But I'm like, look, and I'm saying this, I'm a fan of the Ravens. I'm a fan of pretty much a division rival. I literally live I live an hour away from Cincinnati. To me, I will say, my opinion on Bengals is this. I have respect for the players on that team. I will say the fans, though, personally, in my opinion, y'all can go fuck yourselves, pretty much. Because, let's just say this, for me, I had to deal with pretty much, understand, here in Louisville before Lamar got drafted, there was very, very few Ravens fans here. Here in the city, it is mostly, you're either a Colts fan, a Bengals fan, and a Titans fan. That's probably the 3 biggest ones. You also got like you got Fairweather Steelers fans, some Fairweather Packers fans, and like other legacy fans like Cowboys and stuff. If you want to know how I went to middle school with, I say my biggest, the peak of pretty much my football fandom was pretty much in middle school. was in middle school because I will say this, I will say this. I had to deal with. I get picked on constant football season. I get heated. I will say this. I have a short fuse, pretty much with my fandom, with my Ravens fandom, football fandom, and a lot of people antagonize me for it from middle school. It even went into high school. Like I pretty much dealt with. I dealt with constant antagonization of Bengals fans to this day. Like some of them, there are some I can hang out with, but overall, some of them I'm like. Now I do have some friends that are Bengals fans. Some I can hang out with, but others I'm like. But there are others that are somehow just talk so much smack during years that were where they were ass. Okay, so understand we're kind of ass. Okay, some of them were kind of ass, or they pretty much just they were kind of ass or whatever. Because honestly, that time frame, it's just when Lamar got, because I remember, because one of the first NFL games I've ever attended was a Ravens-Bengals game in Cincinnati. Let me say this, if you're a Ravens fan in any shape, way, shape, or form, do not consider going to a Ravens-Bengals game in Cincinnati ever. Because from the moment I stepped out of my dad's car to go to the game, to the time I got in the car and left, Bengals fans were pretty much willing to fight me on sight for no fucking reason. Wanted to fight me and my sister on sight. Like, we had, it was immediately a target on our heads, just boom, right there. And I'm just and understand, I'm 17 at the time. I'm 17. I'm just bruh, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm an hour away from y'all. We don't have any pro teams. We don't really got a real team to cheer for here. Okay, so why you all pissing me? Got on my ass for? Literally, why'd y'all get into my ass for? And they still say, we don't care how old you are. Some of them are beyond your ass. If you're a man, a woman, hell, even a child. I've heard, there are stories some old lady Bengals fan and her husband antagonizing a bunch of kids wearing some Ravens gear. We don't know, you don't know where his kid's from. He could be from Baltimore, he could be from, the kid could be from fucking Fort Mitchell or pretty much in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, or in Northern Kentucky, Florence, Kentucky, who probably grew up watching Lamar at U of L, and they're saying this is the one game of the year you can pretty much, if you live in Kentucky, you can drive up at least bare minimum 50 minutes to an hour and see Lamar play up close. Live. Up close and live. And Bengals fans, I guarantee you, Bengals fans still will get on your ass. That's why I say this. So, now let me say this. Again, I get it. He's saying this in one Harmon division rival, a division rival. look, I have respect for Joe Burrow and like Bengals players, okay? Bengals players and coaches. Like, besides, I respect Marvin Lewis. His time as a coach at Bengals, he was a former Ravens defensive coordinator. So, I have tremendous respect for players and coaches. Fans, y'all can go fuck yourselves to hell. Like, y'all can all suck a dick. To me, because I'm just saying, that's it. I'm just saying, now at 25, I'm kind of calm. I can kind of be calm and handle situations better. Me at 17, woo, 17-year-old me was prepared to fight every fight Bengals fans on sites. So, was ready to fight on sites. Like, I don't care if you a grown man. I don't care if you a grown man. I don't care if you was a man, woman, senior citizen, and a little child. I'm saying all of them would have gotten the hands. I would have gotten the hands. Okay, for real. Like, look. I'm just saying is like, for now, this year, I'm like, all I'm gonna say is this: Bengals, what you doing this season? Congratulations, you guys are you got a winning team. Let's see if you guys can win a playoff game finally. So that is done. As done. After that, I'm just saying this next year when we play y'all, I'm just saying. You think Ravens go remember? We go get that receipt. I'll say this: Ravens will get that receipt. It's gonna come back. It's gonna be better than last year because we gonna get better. We're gonna get better. We're gonna be healthier, and next year we gonna get that receipt. Dead ass. Get that receipt. As soon as Lamar gets healthy again. We rebuild our defensive line, offensive line, etc. And everything else, we'll be back. We will be back, son. And wow, we actually skipped some frames. Holy shit. Okay. My goodness. So we may have dropped frames. So yeah. So we ended up dropping frames, unfortunately. My apologies for that. But still, like, Ram fans gonna get revenge. We gonna get revenge, okay? So, I'm not too worried about it. But still, like, there is, like, a huge difference between, like, I say this, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm just saying it's, like, right now, it is extreme. Of what, Barsar kind of said about it, I kind of like look at it like I can say like we got our asses. All I was saying is this, like, bro, we got our asses beat. It is what it is. Give like Joe Burrow like okay props. Yeah, you can kind of say like, well, he play like practice squad players and backups. Like it is to me, it is what it is at this point. I am like, it is what it is. So yeah, moving on. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. So now we're getting to 2021. Let's do a quick reflection on 2021 real quick. So let's might as well talk about that. I am super tired. So besides last night, I ended up having to. I will say my dreams are kind of weird. Some of them foreshadow some shiz, which possibly is going to foreshadow some shiz. So, on them was this, I do not know. I end up being, as I say, I end up pretty much, I think I meet some chick on Facebook. I end up going to her place, and let's just say she kind of going to like let's just say, might try to almost redo the healer of me. So let's say I end up escaping from this crazy bitch for some reason. So yeah, that was a weird ass dream. I don't know what the hell going on there, but yeah, I might need a break. I'd just say I am probably going to be getting into that. Yeah, I notice I got sits and stuff. I need to not touch my face. Anyways, moving on. We are gonna go into. Let's talk about the. Let's go and talk about like how 2021 is. First, I say like my thoughts on how my year went. I pretty much worked every year at UPS. I've now actually worked 5 years there. I've actually worked 5 years, celebrated 5th anniversary in June of 20. On June 22nd, 26th. I think it's 22nd. June 22nd of this year, celebrate my 5th year working at UPS. I actually did get a plaque receive a plaque of the, like an award, of the celebration of 5 years there. 5 years there. At this time, I actually moved into this apartment here in July. Earlier in the year, I actually received inheritance from finally received inheritance from my grandfather, and let's say how much I have spent on. Now the amount I have spent on. Now how much I have spent on that inheritance, I probably spent a good chunk of it on a lot of stuff. One thing I have noticed is like, let's just say I go through money super quickly. Like, let's just say if you gave me $1 million, I guarantee you by the next day I probably already spent $100,000 on tons of on either going out to the best restaurants and possibly many women on women. So some alcohol involved, but mostly food and women. Let's just say this. I kind of learned because I will say this. My three biggest spenders of my this year has been Uber Eats, Uber rides, and escorts. Escorts. That is the big three things that I'm basically trying to avoid going into 2022. Like, for example, I am going to remove. Basically, I actually deleted the Uber app in general. As everything. Number 2, pretty much try to at least not seek escort services again. So, let's say 2021, I pretty much relapsed hard. Let's say I kind of relapsed over the course of the year. Because the amount I spent literally on Uber Eats and Uber rides to some of the places of business and also the amount of money I spent on services, on site services, honestly would have paid off my student loans entirely. Like I can pay off the principal and the interest together. Because I actually owe over $3,000 to U.S. government, and I literally had free. Because actually, I have. I think I'm not gonna give the entire amount, but it is like something close to it. So give me a second. Let me go ahead. Actually, calculate this stuff up, and it's like. Yeah, here it is. Like. For overpriced alone, it's over $500. Combine that with my Uber Eats stuff, it was over $100. I know y'all are gonna tell me like, wow, you went crazy. Like, yes. I had to say this, like, I pretty much had, because this was actually, it was, kind of went crazy once I moved into my own apartment, because at that point, I pretty much was like, I don't have to really, no one's going to stop me from, I can eat out as much as I want to now, eat out, or pretty much, it's junk food, I can, because honestly, after, I say, prior to move, I was working out, and then I was working out on regular paces. It's just the moment I decided to move out, I literally moved out of this apartment. After the move, I hardly went back to the gym at all. I say I went to the gym like maybe once or twice. So if I have a goal for 2022, I'm pretty much going to try to go back to the gym again, because I'm actually try at least do that. And everything is try to be more consistent with walking like 5,000 steps a day. The good thing is I actually got this fitness tracker here. This fitness tracker here. Another thing is also drink a lot more water. So, try to drink a lot more water. And, yeah, and actually just diet more. Yeah. Just diet a whole lot more. So, that is pretty much my plan for 2022, is focus more on that. On this channel, my intentions is to actually do a lot, be more consistent with uploading. I'm gonna try at least do like at least once a week. I'm thinking I can try at least get this out like try to get out, do these episodes out. I say every Tuesday at best. I say Tuesday. On Tuesdays, like, I think I can do that. Like, just find time to record is kind of easy. The average steps is like doing editing. Just doing editing and outside of like the podcast, I'm actually want to do is like try to do more like vlog type stuff. Like, kind of like give you guys like a bit of like a behind the scenes of me. Because I'm actually going to try to record some things. Try to record kind of my journey of losing weight. Because my plan is for 2022 is, in terms of like the diet, workouts and stuff, I want to lose a good amount of weight for Black Adam movie coming out with The Rock. And if you want to know me, I am actually a huge fan of The Rock. I have been a fan of The Rock since the day I was born, pretty much, because dude came in because I grew up a pro wrestling fan, and I actually still am. So I actually still am a pro wrestling fan. So I'm pretty much rock with. So I rock with. So I love Rock a ton. Like I watch a lot of movies. I watch a good chunk of Rock's movies, and like I dude's like a good, pretty much all around like a great person. So if I had like a top 5 people I want to meet dead or alive, Rock is in like within the top 2, like top 2, like top 2. So that is pretty much so that is good. So I want to at least get into that more. So that's my plan for at least 2022. Is start getting more consistent with uploads. Start getting do more like vlog type videos, and maybe a couple of things. Another step for 2022 is actually get a actual. Is try to set up the reset up the gaming channel, the YouTube gaming channel. I had a gaming channel called J Money Gaming, which is still up. I think that has at least, I think if I'm looking at it, I think it had like, because I did a good chunk of it since 19, let me find this. Let me pull this up. It's let me see. Did I put? I don't have it featured. Sadly, I don't have the J Money Game. I thought J Money Gaming was. I thought the J Money Gaming channel was on. Let me see. Let me make sure I turn this down. No, let me actually go. I might as well search this then. Give me 1 second. I'm at least try to put up the. Oops. Let me do this. There we go. And actually, we're going to filter channel. Yeah. Yeah, I actually had 51 uploads on that channel, and I pretty much last video I did was back in May of it was May. It was July 15, 2019. This was before I ended up getting actually evicted out of pretty much that apartment, and I ended up getting evicted out of the apartment I was staying with my sister at the time, which I don't want to get into too much details. Basically, we were pretty much we're kind of like rushing. We had to rush to move out of that apartment, and it just never. Am I still upset about it? Yes. Am I still upset about it? Yes. I do want to get back into the YouTube. I do want to get back into YouTube again because I do want to get back into it again. I was getting consistent. If you try at least stay consistent with uploading on that channel, and I actually do want to bring it back because I say at first it was a Smash, it is a Smash centric, but as somehow I want to get back into that gaming channel and start doing like, I still will do some Smash stuff, but I'm like, do some Smash stuff, but I'm also going to try at least branch off into doing like, fighting games mostly. Fighting games like Street Fighter, King of Fighters, actually I'm my old and a new one because actually, new one's actually looking pretty good, and maybe a couple others like Guilty Gear and like the new like there are more Arc System Works games that's just the DNF Duel game which actually looks pretty good, and yeah, like pretty much. But I do want to do like it will be like mostly some fighting games. I might try to do like playthroughs of like a few other things. I think the new Pokemon game, like Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, pretty much try do something there with that, and then do a playthrough of that, and then I think a couple other games, and basically a couple other games. So I have plans, a lot of plans for 2020. That is pretty much one of the goals for 2022 is bringing back the gaming stream. The last thing is pretty much, and this one is pretty much move out of this apartment and get into a better one, because if you want to know something, this apartment has a ton of roaches. Is doing like a infestation of roaches. Like there are a ton of them like big and small, and it's yeah, I kind of had enough. My sisters had enough of it, so we're going to be working on getting rid of them very soon, and pretty much we've tried about everything to get rid of them, and none of them have worked. So I'm actually, as I'm speaking right now, there's like one like on this hallway door right now, and I'm just trying to like fight the urge to just get up and just smack this thing. Smack the thing. But yeah, it's I say actually during this, I say this week I'm pretty much gonna be cleaning up after myself. I'm gonna be cleaning up this probably like tomorrow. So that's gonna be the start of the new year. It's pretty much me cleaning up the apartment before I actually head out. That's Saturday evening to head out tomorrow evening to celebrate my father's 73rd birthday. So yes, my father is a New Year's baby. He was born January 1st, 1949. So yeah, he'll be 73 on New Year's Day. So I wish my father a happy birthday if you can. Thank you very much. So what exactly is your guys' goals for 2021, 2022, and let me know what you guys think. I say one of your goals is losing weight, or going to the gym, dieting, all this stuff. I say the first thing I can say is this, the first thing you can do is I say a lot of things about the gym stuff. Don't overthink that. Don't overthink it. That's the first thought. Is do not overthink some of the stuff. Don't overthink since I gotta go work out in the gym, I gotta do this, and that. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this thing. I gotta do this thing. I gotta do this. I gotta do this workout. I gotta do this. Okay. One of the things, let me give you a guide of how you go in the gym. First thing is if you're going to the gym, one of the first things you should do is not spend 15 minutes a set in between sets. I say, not one of the first things is do keep it. I say take things easy and slow. Slow. Don't like do for like the first thing you do is like on bench press you just do like you put like 10, 45 plays on each side and start lifting at this. First of all, that is one going to injure you, and two, no one's going to be able to spot you. Well, you're going to need like 4 people to help lift. You might have to have 4 people to lift the bar up off of you if you try doing that. So, doing that. Never think, don't spend at least 15 minutes on your phone on like either a bench or machine. That is way too extreme. Number 2, never think is come up with a plan, an actual plan. Like it, just don't just start doing like going like a bunch of machines and just doing crazy things. Number 2, if you don't know what exactly to do, I say ask like a staff member at the gym, or if you see someone that is doing like a good workout is you can talk to them and like fake, because actually one of the things about gym goers, like a good chunk of gym goers are friendly and some can give you good advice. I mean, you do get those gym rats that are kind of like, would pretty much shit on you, or pretty much will mess with you and pretty much could, and are probably like kind of like try to be like super like alpha red pill energy type shiz, like just like woo woo, like nah, like stupid. I actually shouldn't have done that because actually I just forgot. My sister's dog probably just thought I was another dog. So actually, but that is like the energy, like that energy is usually is like for certain few show that energy, but majority are like people are actually cool. So majority of them are actually cool. Yeah. Another thing is like don't always focus on exercise. Number one thing is like make your diet, have a good diet. Focus on a good diet. And if you're trying to change your diet, parents, don't do anything. Don't go super extreme. Like this is one of the things that happens is like some of them will do like a diet that's like 1,500 calories, and some of them are going to try like some pretty much going to do plain chicken, rice, broccoli for like 7 months, and that pretty much will that can get tiring very easy, very fast, very easy, and very fast. So does it work? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I've done it before. Was it kind of torturous? Kind of was, but I kind of swapped it out for like fit. But there were days I swapped the sometimes swapped out chicken for fish. Sometimes for like lean fish or something like that. So there you go. Another thing. Try to drink more water. That's another thing. Another solution is I say this: whatever amount of sodas you drink, like if you drink like 4 soft drink today, if you replace like maybe one or two Cokes with probably one or two like 16-ounce glasses, like a 16-ounce soda. If you drink like 4 like 16-ounce cups of soft drink of soda, if you replace 1 or 2 bottles with like 6 with of those sodas, glasses of soda, with 1 or 2 glasses of ice cold water, that'll help out a ton. That'll change a ton. I say that'll change a ton. Another thing is like a good protein is, and I also say the final thing is get a good amount of sleep daily. So that's something I'm actually trying to do for 2020. For 2022 is actually try to at least be more consistent with my sleep, because one of the things is I'm kind of like my sleep schedule kind of fucked because of like I've worked like evening shifts, night shifts for like 5 years, so my sleep schedule can get a little weird, can get a little wild, a good chunk of a day. But this summer I kind of want to I'm actually gonna work on trying to get a better schedule, sleep on a better schedule. So my plan is to do go do that for 2022, is like kind of set like a, I don't want to say set up a bedtime. I set like a bedtime, but also kind of like I've set up a bedtime for me, because if I kind of do that, I'm going to feel much better than I was, I say, at least a year ago. I will say much better. Plus, if you get better sleep, you get better recovery time from the gym. You'll be growing better in like a lot of things. I will say is, so I will say this: don't overthink it, don't overstress it. Everybody, like, stay consistent. Like, just stay consistent. I already know there will be some that will be around the first month. I know gyms will be back the first month. And then some, I mean, I'll be there. I don't think I'll be there January 1st, but I will be there, I say January 3rd, which is pretty much Monday. First Monday, I think by then I'll be there. I don't think it will be as bad, because some will be there the first day and not show up for the rest of the year. If you started on January 1st and you are there by June, that meant, okay, this man really is committed to that. Some drop off after a month, some drop off after 2 months. Because I think for me, number one, one thing I remember is like it takes 30 days to build a habit. So if you can make it past the first month, if you can go through 30 days of this, then you can pretty much, okay, that habit works. Like I say, like that's the thing, like kind of about November. It's kind of like November, like, okay, it takes 30 days to stop the habit of fapping, pretty much fapping. So that's why it's I can kind of understand why I know November kind of works, which is actually one of the things for 2022 is actually to combat the escort problem, and like, and just I'm actually going to try to practice semen retention. Actually practice semen retention for a good chunk of 2022, is like, because throughout that workout regimen, I'm planning on not doing trying try to do that no nut stuff. Pretty much avoid porn at all. Pretty much avoid porn in general, and mostly sex. I might actually, well, I might leave sex on the table. Leave sex on the table. I just probably try not to do stuff with escorts at all. I'm like, one of the things is I kind of want to start saving money and actually, one, pay for rent and prioritize buying groceries and like other things, and also paying off bills and such. So that is kind of like my intentions for those are my personal goals involving involving that. So now I know someone's gonna say like semen injection doesn't work. It's not that effective. Like I think it's like a placebo effect. It does some good. It does some bad. I don't fucking know exactly the benefits of NoFap, of the NoFap movement, the semen retention shiz. I just want to at least do something else with better with my time. One thing I actually saw was like, I remember a Google Photos, a screenshot of this, and it's like someone created like this Dragon Ball Z in like real life like power level scaling thing, which I'm like, I kind of would like, and I kind of like it because I'm like, that's something I'm kind of like, I know what, that's something I kind of could do, see what I can do, and it's like, try to be consistent. And everything is, my goal is for 2022 is kind of start reading more books, start reading a lot more books, and also start looking in, and also try at least finally push, because I actually have been working for a minute, working on this like book thing, on this like story like thing, which I kind of want to make that, kind of want to like do something like a manga, kind of like one of those webcomic things. Make this a webcomic in a sense. Make this a webcomic, but I actually I have plans on this. If you've heard of it, I've probably mentioned it before in this thing, but also if you know me personally, I've called this, it's called Meteor Boy. I've worked on that project off and on since my 8th grade, maybe freshman year of high school, and I've had multiple ideas of how I want to rate it. Some of it was, one thing was like a copycat, like Dragon Ball Z type thing. Eventually I eventually adapted that from like my love of Dragon Ball Z. It's kind of like, it will be like kind of Dragon Ball Z, but I kind of want to, but I'm not going to do like the key stuff. I'm not doing like any like the key stuff. The stuff in like flying stuff. My one thing is like, I've been, when I adapted is like, because I'm actually a fan of like the Raid movies, and kind of like a fan of like actual like swords and stuff. So kind of want to step into like a sci-fi world where you pretty much are dealing with like super soldiers with guns, swords, and martial arts and stuff. And it's like, and I'm actually want to adapt that. So that's kind of like what the adaptation is gonna be. What I'm kind of going with, the direction I'm going with. I actually have started like on the building of like the universe of like how that universe is. Like pretty much, I kind of did write a bit of an introduction of the character itself. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Actually, while I'm here, this is kind of like So this is a work in progress. Okay, I want you guys to know this. This is a work in progress. So bear with me when I say this. This is a straight work in progress. And I actually kind of started putting fingers on keyboard actually in July of 2019. So this has been a process for like 2 years. The first main thing about knowing on, because one of the things we know on about the sun is like the biggest source of life. Well, I actually do in this universe, the sun is like the actual like is like an actual like star that teams with life, like plants, animals, humans, like in my mind, every like living thing is derived from the sun, basically. So in basically 4.6 billion years ago, like, everything we know in this world and like everything, like all technology, innovation stuff, kind of pretty much came from the sun. Sun's like kind of like the sun is like technologically advanced. So at this, I say, I think eventually like 1,000 years ago. I'm gonna put this in like 1,000 years ago, but around. Actually, I just now came up with an idea. I'm like around 1,000 years ago. It was basically overpopulation and scarceness of food eventually became an issue, which then led to, because actually I'm gonna say like became an issue. It did get to a point, like I do have an idea of like putting in like it eventually started like a civil war across the entire sun. Like it was like as the sun only eventually like the first like first king of the sun, actually King Joseph, actually he united everyone. So one of the things was like the king like actually assigned a group of scientists to identify every plant animal and actually assign them to planets throughout the solar system actually that are suitable enough for their growth and survival. After like 100 years of research, they actually created these spaceships called arks. Yeah, something like Noah's Ark. So there is like a religious semblance of this. So that would send those planes and animals to each respective planet to ensure survival in each planet. King Joseph also to requested that 1 million people be sent on each ark. So in about a year, 9 million people, they found 9 million people who would volunteer for the experiment. That were some basically after the course of war and some cases going through like dealing with like losing some family members. Some were eager to start a new life on the new planet. So they were randomly assigned the people were then randomly assigned to arcs by drawing like the codename of one of those arcs out of a box. I actually named like all I named all the codename of the arcs by of each arc like by the great gods, all except Earth. I put like Hermes, which is Mercury, Aphrodite for Venus. Earth is like Noah. Ares for Mars. Zeus for Jupiter. Demeter for Saturn. Uranus which is for Uranus, Poseidon for Neptune, and Hades for Pluto. And each one of them actually were sent to the planets. They all made every arc landed on their planets in their respective planets in a week's time. Hades, the last one, Hades, is believed to have landed, but the distance between the sun and Pluto is like so far, the radar couldn't pick up the ship's location at that point. So I actually kind of might do something later, since like Neptune and Pluto are right next to each other. I might do something where like the main character has like this fight, and as he's trying to escape, he actually ends up going to Pluto, and he finds out that the people on that planet is alive and well, and like he learns a few things. I have some ideas. I have options for this as the series progresses, but I have plans. So when these arcs land on their respective planets, after they landed, they would send information back to the sun if the experiment was a success or a failure. People in time, like the plants and animals, would thrive and they adapt to new environments and would, evolve, and like others would perish, like some go extinct. People learn more about the planet and begin to make homes, turning those things into cities. One thing is, instead of like starting like war, doing this stuff with war, planets started using democracy, like more diplomacy, try to work with diplomacy more, settling their issues with like diplomacy instead of like going into war. And over the course of like the years, like planets would live in harmony amongst each other. Some people would move to other planets, some would stay. Some it was like long ago, like pretty much all like 9 planets like live together in harmony. Then I decided to create. Then everything changed when this group named Systema Chaos formed on Mars. Their plan was breaking each planet's government up by pretty much breaking up each planet's governments by either a bloodless coup, bribing them, rigging elections, or by coup d'etat, which is forceful. Led by a man named Kano, like Mortal Kombat Kano. I don't know if Mortal Kombat actually has the name Kano like copyright, so I might change it up to something else maybe, so I could change it up. So change it up in the future. Led by a man named Kano. Like, this group would eventually take over each planet's government. They would all begin developing militarizing armies. They would develop weapons. They would make miniature drafts, build military bases, like all kinds of stuff for like 20 years. This started in 1902. By 1922, they were ready to begin the process of war with the Sun Kingdom. With the goal is just having total control of the solar system. So the main character's actually his name is Mason. I know what you're thinking, like, okay, that sounds almost close to yes, I know. Look, I decided to name Mason. Look, I could go on and on about that, but look, it is what it is. Like, I couldn't think of much names, okay? Mason was, like, one of the first things I could think of. Personally, I kind of like the name Mason, pretty much. I'm honest with my name. It rolls off the tongue, okay? Just mind business. So, over time, like, the great-grandfather, King Joseph IV, he would send multiple armies trying to stop this force from invasion. But conventionally, fighting like this force would not work at all. Every army sent would get squashed completely. Would get squashed. So realizing that conventional means would not work, the Asian King Joseph IV would actually send small groups of soldiers combating them, but under Loki, these specially designed sorcerers would come in these ships that would rust up while they burn up in the atmosphere, but would not kill the pilots inside them. The purpose is to disguise those ships as like fireballs that crash in the atmosphere, and the soldiers would infiltrate these bases and the System of Chaos bases and destroy them from within. Over time, these soldiers would soon take over some of these bases, gather weapons, and would help organize counter-revolution groups on planets, help combat the state of Chaos in general. Over the course of like the next 10 years, that group would actually repel the Chaos from the Sun War invasion and push them back and help start liberating some planets until it took until 1947 that it would end some of Chaos, pretty much end this Game of Chaos regime. It would defeat Kano and arrest him for high crimes. In basically, like, I pretty much put in like corruption, found for like corruption, conspiracy, bribery, murder. Actually, I gotta be careful when I say this word. Gape, Gape, Gape. Basically a lot of crimes. Basically he would be sentenced to be executed in public. The person who would do it would be Mason's grandfather, King Raymond. Basically, method of execution will be a slice of a samurai sword cut off his head, and from there, that King Raymond would actually would work on rebuilding the planet's former governments over time, next 20 years, and help reorganize armies. He actually would create a military program based on the soldiers that stopped System of Chaos. He would name it the Meteor Program. Thus, why it's called Meteor Boy. Mason's father, King William, and his mother, Queen Lauren, who would be on the first to graduate from a program, and first two of the students would be among the first to graduate from that program. They actually would get married. There would be a royal wedding, and Now, these two would become lovers because actually William was actually the prince, and actually Lauren would be a young princess from Venus. So yeah. So there would be they would have a royal wedding. The reception would be a white wedding. Reception would then soon turn bloody red because I did was have an ambush of surviving System of Chaos members ambush the reception and just kill a mass of people. Among them would be his grandfather. Would be King Raymond. William, witnessing or die before him, he goes. This is like one of the things about the red eyes. This is gonna be a common trait with like mostly a bunch. If you're a pureblood like Sun Warrior, it's like the red eyes. It's kind of like a devil. I kind of want to put it like a devil trigger, like from Devil May Cry. It basically you go. Basically, you are ballistic, like a berserker mode. Go into like a berserker mode. I actually am working on. What I would do is like. Would be like what I would do is actually change things. You change it up to a point where it's like. Would be what I do is like probably I actually did change. He did kill like the assassin. I put down here. Yeah. Okay. I think what I would do is put the name of the assassin. I was gonna say like an eye for an eye, but I think I'm gonna say is actually something different. Like I'm actually gonna change it up. Would change it up and would say I think I might change it up and say like Kano lives. Like kinda like he's actually like Kano lives. I actually just thought about that. I'm like, it was an eye for an eye. And I'm just gonna be patching this up. So there are gonna be like 3 children, like Jack, like the oldest, the Mason, like the youngest of the family. So there is an older brother with Jack, who would be ranked in S class. Then his sister would be in S class as well. English S class. She's kind of gonna be like a big teacher for him. I'm actually working on like, and then I kind of like in the beginning I'm like by birthright because actually an earlier order from in terms of like situations like in case like in one of the things is like in by birthright if the king died, the youngest child would rule as the king or queen of sun. So, but Mason's like even though he would be next in line, his goal is one become a meteor and try to be the next class meteor like his son. So yeah, here's actually the chapter like how I kind of want to introduce him. And it's like some him. He is. And it's like during the morning time, on top of a craggy cliff. He actually, like Mason's like surveying through the thick grassy plains that are below him, and slightly walking along the edge of the cliff with a bow and arrow at hand, throwing out in one pocket and a sword attached to his belt. Prince Mason looks intently like an eagle looks for his prey. After a few seconds of walking, he finds the prey he's been searching for. A 12-point buck about 6 feet long, weighing around 700 pounds, emerges from a patch of tall grass that cloaked him. Testing the distance and angle between him and the prey, Prince Mason prepares to take his opportunity to go for the kill. He patiently knocked. I was just practicing like saying all. I kind of one thing I do know is I do need to work on like paragraph structure, which I might need to work on. Talk to someone who could help me out with that. So like basically like that. And I'm saying this here. He's 10 in this point in time right here. This is like he's 10 years old. So I was saying. So, and I described like how the arrow actually would penetrate the skull of the buck in the brain, hitting him, and like the buck would fall around. I slowly froze away by. Prince would. Now, one thing is, in the middle, while Mason's walking towards that prey, there would be a large bear slowly approaching the area, and just smelling the fresh blood of that 12-point buck. Okay, Now, Mason knows the bear's there. This is like the point where I'm kind of making the red eyes kind of a common thing. Because Mason's eyes is actually blue, and then turns red. And this is where, as Mason climbs down the cliff, climbs down the cliff, he then starts running towards the deer and that bear, because the bear is going to come. And I know what you're thinking, that is weird, that is, I understand, this is like a space bear, basically, so this bear is built different than your average bear. Okay? So, from this point, so Mason's pretty much about to approach the deer and that bear. Mason then prepares to remove his sword, ready to, strike, but as Mason was prepared to take down the bear, dead grass crumbled underneath him. The bear ends up hearing it, and is ready to attack him. Gets ready to attack him, and then right as the bear stands up and is preparing to start using one of his claws to attack him, this is where pretty much, this is where I'm kind of stabilized, kind of pretty much introduce his mother into the picture. So, where pretty much she ends up slicing the sword's head off clean. Would slice the bear's head off clean. Just clean, one slice, one kill, and on that quick draw, that quick draw stuff, like Virgil does, and pretty much Mason would and this is a thing where he practices, where I kind of want to practice the thing about that eye thing. It's something he kind of can turn it on, turn it off easily. It's would turn off easily. It just would with a switch, just he can turn it on, turn it off if you can, because it's so. His mom pretty much kind of scolds him a bit, he pretty much hesitated one of these hesitations. One of the biggest killers combat is the difference between victory and defeat. And it's he's so it's one of those things. Now, she sees potential in him. He pretty much is he inspires to be S-class me, or his siblings. So, siblings and siblings and stuff, and he's pretty much he knows be more physically and mentally, and pretty much it's being a true warrior is not about physical strength. Pretty much comes from heart and mind. He ends up shooting. If you're wondering distance of how far he shot this thing, I say it's 1,000 yards away. Actually, I want to at least establish because I don't know what's the largest the record is for longest shot from a bow and arrow hitting a target longest bullseye. But pretty much I kind of want to do is set up a galactic a world record type thing. Oh jeez, my apologies if I accidentally hit. I need to switch that up soon. But yeah, I want to at least get into something that is going to be something strength. So basically something like that. So that is pretty much one of the things about this. So let's see here. I got 18% mean on here. So okay, so I'm just checking my thing. So it's like, so yeah, that is pretty much what I'm planning on doing, is try to work on that some more. Actually, I'm gonna try to do is try to work on that a lot more every day. I actually have an idea of like kind of how I want to work with them, design them. I actually have the idea of how I want to change them up. What the character would look like, if you're wondering. Let me see if I can find this clip, because if you watch Static Shock, because this was a character in there, Static Shock, and I gotta find the actual character. I'm gonna try to find the for one character. There's this one character from, what's its, I can't remember the exact name. It's what is his name? Hot Streak. That's it. Like, its name was like Hot Streak. Pretty much that design, character design. Kind of from that character design. Let me find a list of. Let me go through the character list real quick. Man, it's just okay. There's very few. There's talking about Rubber Band Dude, and in that Emon guy. Yeah, that was. So I might have to go to like. Let me search. Let me go to please get the fuck off my shoes. Let me find a list of episodes real quick. I was kind of just trying to find actually, is there a list of characters? Yeah, there is. So let me go through this, and let me see if I can find this. Find him. He should be in here. Yeah, here it is. It's like the one photo. Kind of not. It's not. I'm not gonna try to go with like the yellow hairish type stuff. I say the red hair kind of. I might do an homage of like his, of what he wore, because it was like just a red shirt, like some, and like the parachute pants type shoes. So yeah, pretty much it's pretty much a loose, like, I know his powers gonna be loosely based to like the no, power is gonna be like that. It's gonna be so that is pretty much gonna be the thing about that. So that's gonna be the idea. So so that is gonna be the idea. So that's pretty much my idea about so that's pretty much my idea. So let's see. What are my thoughts about this? So but yeah, there's probably more. I think there are more photos of him, but kind of like, I kind of won't do anything crazy, like stupid crazy, like kind of like I might have to work on ideas for him, but that is his okay, that's gonna go towards Australian TV show and like, sorry. Let me search. Let me see if I can find a better photo of him. Hot Streak Static Shock. And let me go to images, like a better... Let me see if I can find a better image. This is pretty much... This is kind of like... This kind of the idea. I might make something casual out of... Like a casual, like, homage to it if I wanted to. But if I wanted to, like, work on stuff... Oh, this is from comics. Let me look at this. Let me actually go closer to this one. Because actually, this is new. Messed up there. So, actually, I just want to see the photo itself. Let me go to image. Let's see if we can, like, observe that more. Actually, this one idea is actually something like this actually kind of works. Yeah, this is actually something like this would work. Something kind of like this actually is not bad of a design. It's kind of like my idea of like how I want Mason to look like, but kind of like, you know, I think his hair would be more like, I would have his hair like more like, actually more like a slick back type of haircut. This is kind of one idea I could deal with. Like, I kind of fucks with this. Like, I'm gonna say, who designed this? Nicholas Draper Ivy. I gotta say, this dude this is actually a fire design. That is kind of how I want, Mason to look like. That's kind of one of the ideas. So that's one idea. And my shit is acting wild right now. So my shit's kind of acting up right now. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea. That's kind of the idea of how I want Mason to be. I might tinker on a couple ideas, so I might do something with it. But I actually do. I might work with like a couple other things. But yeah, that's one of the things I want to do is like, I'm going to be trying to at least put fingers on this keyboard and just start cranking out like those adventures and like build on that universe and finally get that done. But I'm kind of debating like how I want it to be, like what I want it to be, like a book series or like what I make it like a I kind of want to do is like kind of make that like I kind of do like a comic book series like Black Art, like the Black Art series and like a couple of other things. Just give that a try because actually that is actually something I might want to do. So that's gonna be the plan for the future. So okay, so I plan to stay on till 3. I was gonna stay on till 3, but I don't have much really to say. I say the last, I guess one last, if I have anything else left, it's gotta be, we got a subscriber from Tiara B. Subscribed. Thanks. Well, thank you for the subscription. I think that's 16th subscriber of the YouTube channel. So, thank you if you subscribing. So yes, we're about to, I think we're going to end it right here. It's about 2.5 hours, so we did a good stream. So, thank you guys very much for watching this live episode of J Money Talks Podcast. Thank you guys very much. Be sure to follow Twitter, like Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Go, give this a like, share this around with everybody, and another thing is like, I'll subscribe to the YouTube channel, like that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. We're gonna be working on 2022. We're gonna be making sure like this is going to be up there. That this that this channel is going to grow. We're going to try to be more consistent with episodes, okay? So we're going to be more consistent with episodes and progress a whole lot more. So progress a ton. So till then, y'all, I'm going to head on out. I'm about to actually fix me something to eat. I'm actually fixing me some eat, break my fast finally. And yeah, till then, guys, everything is also go follow the podcast on Spotify. And recently, I actually am on Apple Podcasts now, so you can catch all episodes, past, present, and future, on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All right, thank you guys very much for watching, and thank you guys very much for watching. Till then, my friends, goodbye. Well, you will see me later on. You will see me later on because I am going to be on. I will be on at around 3 o'clock for the get ready for the Alabama-Cincinnati game at the Cotton Bowl game. So you will see me on that. But regardless, till then, my friends, goodbye. And